Welcome back to Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. It's a bit weird going over the introduction while we have, this sad music playing. But you might notice my LP is a little lower. I actually went and spent some LP off-camera, mostly just for anything that boosts stats. I did it off-camera because nothing here is going to count for a main save file, but I did do something a little interesting. I actually got Balthier the license for the Ultima Blade, because Barsh can at least use the Dragon Whisker, while Balthier has no equivalent of that apart from, like, guns, and I kind of feel like if he's the leading man, he's going to want to take this, amazing sword into the final battle, and because of that, I've equipped him with a better, strength-boosting piece of armor here, and this is mainly there for the strength buff as well, because I don't think I need the bubble belt on him, given that we can just bubble ourselves with, our other party members. And I didn't show off Gambits last time, so I'll do it here. Vayne really hasn't changed apart from Protector. I'm out of remedies, so that's not really going to do anything. Balthier, I don't want to waste time using oil on things, but he's got Bravery and Faith set up to be used, as well as these. Fran is just on her typical setup here, but I've gone back for Ardor as my main focus. Barsh is still pretty much the same as he's generally been. I've changed that to highest max HP rather than highest level, and I've turned that off because he'll actually never really use that one if this one's on. Ash is pretty much, not that one, that's her buff setup. Turn that off because I've given her the Reflect Piercer, but okay, I don't think we're going to be fighting many Reflect using enemies from now on, so I can re-equip the Sage's Ring here. I've also put her Charge Gambit further up so that she'll use it if she runs out of MP. And Penelo, she's also pretty standard, but again, I've actually put her Charge command up in priority so that she'll always use it if she runs low. And I think that should be pretty good. I wonder if I should set the threshold for this one. Maybe I'll set this a little higher, and I'll set this one a little higher too. Because I sort of want her to be my main healer for these. So I'll put that to below 70, and I'll put that to below 40. Kuraga or Jar? May as well use Jar. Okay, Vayne was it. You know what? I'm going to actually bring Ash in for this. So, the two Sky Pirate Mentors and Ash. Switch over to controlling her. Let's take this lift. If I'm remembering right, I think this is going to take us to the end. Well, Gabranth just sits there. Still breathing, but he's currently taking no further part in things. Just cut off my cure.
I bid you welcome to my sky fortress, the Bahamut. I must apologize for my delay in welcoming you aboard my ship. Permit me to ask, who are you? An angel of vengeance? Or perchance a saint of salvation?
I am simply myself. No more and no less. And I want only to be free.
Such a woman is not fit to bear the burden of rule. Weep for Dalmasca, for she is lost. Observe well, Larsa. Watch and mark you. The suffering of one who must rule, yet lacks the power.
No. No, brother. I will not. Though I lack your power, I will still persist.
Bold words, child.
Well, we did get a guest for this final series of battles. He's not actually considered like an official guest party member though he'll still be assisting us. I love how Larsa's finally standing up to him, so we've got Vayne here, and to be honest, I've pretty much completely forgotten what Vayne can do in this state. Apparently get most of his health sapped by one spell.
Your lives are forfeit, and your insurgents with them. Dalmasca will again know order. For good and all, I shall bring your futile attempts at rebellion to an end.
So, Ash's speech earlier pretty much pegged her as, chaotic good, and now we've got Vayne being classic lawful evil. Okay, let's, I guess, no, I can have Fran dispel that, I think. That's probably, better, because Ash is going to be doing more damage with Scathe. But yeah, this is going to seem pretty easy. There's a good reason for that, obviously. I mean, this guy's a Final Fantasy villain. There's no way this is going to be his final form. Does have a super move, though, which didn't really do a whole lot.
Lord Brother!
Larsa!
Manufactured nethicite.
Behold the power left me by our fallen friend.
Okay, that close-up was terrifying.
Gabranth, you will defend my brother. He will have much need in the hell to follow.
Yes, I will defend Lord Larsa.
The hound strays. Treason bears a price.
One I gladly pay.
Vayne, you really should have thought that through. You failed to specify who he should defend Larsa from. So, yeah, I guess if you were making really bad jokes, which I probably am in this circumstance because I'm saying this being a hypocrite, but you could call him Vayne Swolador. That just kind of came to me when I saw that. Being honest, I'm not really sure I'm a fan of this. I feel like they were just kind of giving him a one-winged angel form for the sake of it, and he's actually a lot more intimidating, I think, when he's just, you know, being himself, rather than just suddenly turning buff. I feel kind of similarly to how some people feel about what they did with the Joker in at the end of one of the Batman Arkham games, giving him like a super muscular final form. It just doesn't really fit a villain like the Joker, and I can kind of see that here in a way. Not really sure what these Sephira actually do, but I know that they are part of his moveset in Dissidia. But he is not the buff version. He's sort of, he's like his first form, but he has the swords floating around him, which I honestly would have gone for as a better compromise. Like, again, also, I think this form looks too similar to Jet from FF10 as well, so...
Ivalice will know a new dynast king, and man will keep his own history. The tyranny of the gods is ended. We are their puppets no more. The freedom for which we have longed is at hand.
So yeah, that's all, you know, well and good, but we can have freedom from the tyranny of the gods without a human reigning over everyone as a tyrant, so we are easily capable of taking history into our own hands ourselves without you to rule in the god's place. Let's do this. As your Vortis. That sounds like a Trails thing, honestly. Inviolable will did dispel his buffs. Okay, this is probably another kind of super move here. I hope I wasn't getting too negative there. Like, I like Vayne as a villain, but I'm just not really sure this kind of buff transformation really fits him as a character. And that didn't do a whole lot. Oh yeah, by the way, we have Cabranth here. Okay, now he's immune to magic. Because of that, my mages are going to go out, and I'm going to bring the physical attackers in. Should I berserk? I'm not really sure I'll even need that. Okay, he's using something else now. I don't even know if he had any of those. He probably had some of them left. Wouldn't be a Final Fantasy final boss without overly long super move animations. Okay, yeah, that one was a lot more impressive, except he's already got rid of his barrier. I'm using Courage here. I've read his Limit Break. Didn't you already use a Limit Break? In some Final Fantasy games, Limit Breaks refer to just, you know, breaking the limits of certain stats.
Even a stray has pride. Here I pay my debt.
Burn in hell! Cavrons!
Well, he's certainly inherited Dr. Sid's ham.
Bosh, tell me, he is a good master? Aye.
Penna! I have failed us both. I am no Dynast king. You must find another, one who might realize your ambitions.
They are fulfilled beyond your knowing. The Christ is sundered. Age of Stones complete. From the Undying Ones, the world is freed. You shall not tread this path alone. Together we go. Come.
Won't Sid be eager to learn what has happened here? History begins anew.
And so we have one more fight, simply called The Undying. Now this form I really like. The fused, like, debris from the fortress, the mist, that sort of Mercurial-like crown on him, the implicit fusion between Vayne and Venar. This actually does fit their characters very well. I really like the design of this. Also, we can't see this guy's health. This is the one boss in the game whose health meter you can't see. So that's something that we're going to have to be careful of, and I am definitely putting Ash into the party for this. She needs to be here. I like how Vaughn got a big hit in Vayne on that cutscene too. So he uses a lot of these piercing spells, and for that reason you kind of need to be healing a lot, because they pierce any resistances and elemental immunities you might have, especially when he starts using piercing for Vega, which I think he does do later on. Yeah, he does hit very hard. We are into the final battle. Also, I think the good part of this song's coming up. That is just, see, I told you earlier this was the game's de facto main theme. Now you know why. Oh, that got him just before the Megalith, but at least we healed him. Well, Ash went down already, wow. I think I should Dispel Mode. This guy actually seems to be a lot more of a challenge than his earlier forms were, which, you know, makes obvious sense, because this is the actual final form. Now's definitely a good time to use the haste emotes too. I should probably use motes just to buff up, because really I should have set up buffs at the end of the last fight. I forgot there wasn't any, like, time between the two phases, like, to walk on the field a bit. This song is just so great. There's no, like, bubblegum mode, unfortunately, but I could go for a Hasker mode. The song is called Fighting for Freedom, by the way. And I believe Piercing also ignores Reflect. Okay, yeah, this guy has a lot of attack power. Maybe I should get Vayne in and get Protector up. And instead of regen, I think I'm going to use another. I mean, there's no real reason not to go for these Mega Elixirs. I would like Decoy Barsh, but I can't really do that because it uses a lot of area attacks. Yeah, so I love how this combines elements of the Empire's theme, the Resistance theme, and then the main theme of the game as well. And just the sort of mechanical plus magical, just all the debris from the ship as well, it just gives Vayne that air of, you know, the one who wanted to use the technology of man to free the world from the gods. It's just... I do really like this form of Vayne. So the second phase form was a bit of a flop, but this one is definitely a lot better. Also, Chain Magic, that lets him use a second spell, I think, after a first spell with no charge time. Oh, great, now he's buffing himself. Yeah, somebody... Barsh is not in the middle of an attack right now, so I think he'll be the Dispel Mode guy. And this is the song that's mainly used for Vayne's appearances in Dissidia as well. Okay, Magic Shield. So, let's get you out, and... Although, if he has a Magic Shield, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't use magic on each other, we just can't use it on him, so I can safely arise Bolthea from the reserves. Okay, now that he's got, though, now that we've got a Magic Shield on him, somebody... Vayne has Protector, though. And Barsh has some healing, but his healing is not that effective. I think Barsh is gonna actually... This is a risk, but I'm gonna Berserk Barsh now. Wait, does the No, he doesn't have... I was looking at somebody else. I thought I saw regen on him. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a super move. That's not good. That did solid damage, but not, like, not unrecoverable. Oh, and he's no longer got a magic shield. I do like how his super moves get rid of his magic shield. Okay, he's casting Bravery. Somebody needs to get rid of that. Really, really don't want this guy buffed, given how much he was wrecking me at the start of the fight. Just throw everything you have at him. Motes, everything. Oh, Force Barrier. Immune to physical, okay then. Yeah, in Zodiac Age as well, this fight is really just a showing of how much you've mastered the classes. Because now he's immune to physical attacks. I was saying before though, I like the way that he Giga Flare Sword does not sound good. That sounds like another super move, but he drops the shield after he uses a super move. Penelo's just hasting. Like, honestly, I should just haste Moat instead of have her waste time charging that. But yeah, that's definitely a super move. Oh, this is why I definitely remember too, with all the kind of gears everywhere. Well, that's definitely coming out of a lot of Imperial taxpayer money. Yeah, that's massive damage to your own ship. Yeah, gotta love the moment where the villain goes crazy and... Oh, now you're immune to magic! Okay, but yeah, when the villain goes crazy and just doesn't care about how much he destroys his own base to take you down. And probably the entire Resistance fleet. Okay, what buffs don't we have on each other? We're all Faith, Protect. We could use this time to bubble. I'll bubble Ash first. Actually, everyone here has bubbles, so they can probably take care of. Although Penelo has a bubble belt, so she doesn't need to use bubble. Giga Flare Sword again? And I'm not going to get bubble in time for that to go off. You can't skip this animation either, but... I mean, this is the final boss fight, so we've got to see all of these cool animations. I admit this one does look not quite as good in HD, because the electricity effects and the gears do look very 2D sprite-ish, but still. As I've said before, I really like the way this boss looks. I think it's definitely a fitting final boss look for Vayne. Uh-oh, well, Penelo's down. Oh, now he's spamming piercing magic. This is the phase that I really don't like at all. How fast can somebody here use Mega Elixir? Come on, Penelo, let's see if you can do this. Well, not fast enough for Ash to go down. Piercing Holy! Oh, that's bad, because Ash is typically immune to that. I think we... Yeah, Penelo's the only one with bubble right now. A lot of our bubbles just kind of fail thanks to him doing stuff. I don't think he's immune to... Is he still immune to magic? Yeah, he's still immune to magic. We just found that out. I said perfect defense. Is that immune to physical as well? Because if he's immune to physical, then quickenings aren't going to work. But if not, there's no real reason not to go ham on quickenings right now. Unless that happens. Penelo has a rise. It's kind of a shame Mega Phoenixes don't exist in this game. Mega Phoenixes typically, yeah, a revival with full HP. Okay. Like, Ash might just straight up instantly go down to this, but I could try for... bubble mode on someone here. Okay, already, okay, Fran got bubbled. Just bubble everybody here while he is, immune to magic. Terra Flare. I don't think I'm going to be able to heal in time for this to hit. This might be a case where Gambits actually are a bit of an issue, because if they're taking precedence over, over manual commands, it's gonna delay when you can heal. Because of the cooldown after certain things. And yeah, not being able to see his health bar means you have no idea how close you are to winning this. Ugh, yeah, that was painful. Ash is going for a rise here. Should she do that, or should I instead focus on... No, I'm gonna let her go for a rise. Okay, good. His palings are down. His palings are down. Now... we can quickening him in the face. Sometimes it's also a little hard to see, like, when his regular attacks are happening. And you know what, I may as well just show the full animations here. I've hit him with a lot of Ardors and Scathes. He should be close. I don't know how much HP he has. But he should be getting kind of close.
I must be strong.
fitting that Ash is part of this. Also, yeah, with the whole physical and magical barriers, if you've made sort of different parts of your party physical and magical, this fight does really benefit from the fact that you can switch out party members in the middle of a fight.
Here goes.
Was hoping there would be a mischarge there. I wish more RPGs did that, and also the fact that you don't get a game over unless your entire party, like, is dead, including the reserves. Just more, again, more games should do that, just saying. It's good to hit the button, like, right before the meter starts going down, because the more you let the timer run down, the faster it counts down, the higher your combo is. So if you stop things at the start of the timer, then you have more time later.
I got it.
Like that. Oh, I really need like a 10+ chain here, though.
I must endure.
And I got a mischarge. I think I got a second mischarge there. I'm just very twitchy with just immediately getting a quickening after somebody is mischarged. So I gotta remember, Penelo has missed... Good, another mischarge on Penelo. It'd be kind of funny if Penelo is the one who gets the majority of the damage out on this quickening, because she's probably the one with the least investment in the plot out of anyone in the party. Even more so than Vayne.
No holding back.
Because she's really only here because Vayne is, and she's friends with Larsa. I guess that fits, but that's really the main contribution she has to the story. But she does contribute a lot more Revenant Wings. She and Vayne are really the main protagonists of Revenant Wings. And I think in Tactics A2... well, that was 10. 10's okay. But in Tactics A2, I think an older Vayne and Penelo end up showing up in that. So what do we got for the concurrents here? Torrent. Torrent's not like the best one out there. Because I think we only got one level 3 in that. A lot of level 2s and 1s, but no, major sequence of 3s. That did it! We should probably clear the area. Shouldn't you have known from Judge Bergen what happens when you mess with manufactured nethicite? Of course, we still have the war to worry about. I like that touch. There's the fact that killing the big bad doesn't instantly stop the war. And that was really our goal here.
Well, can we fly?
No fuel goes to the Glossair engines.
Damn. Vayne, you're in charge. I'm checking the engine room.
Right.
Fran, with me?
Look! Bahamut's Glossair rings are stopping!
Vayne, as soon as the Strahl's rings move, you take off. Understood? You can fly her, Vayne. Just do it like I told you.
Don't worry.
Penelo, watch for interference from Bahamut's Skystoke. The Strau's a fickle girl. You keep her working for us.
I'll see what I can do.
Bash, look after Larsa, will you? If House Solidor should crumble, the Empire would fail, and civil war would take us all.
I understand.
The Lord Larsa is our last hope.
Vaughn, the power's back. We can go.
Right. Let's go. Grab onto something.
Sir, it's the Stroll. She's left Bahamut. She's moving away.
The Stroll. They made it. At last. The Bahamut has fallen. The final test is upon us. The judges shall rule us no more. Main cannon on the Alexander.
This is Judge Magister Gabon. All forces cease fire. I repeat, all units of the Arcadian army, hold your fire.
The battle is over. As of this moment, we have signed a ceasefire with the Shelia Benargan Delmasca, the Royal Majesty.
Attention. This is Larsa Farina Solidor.
My brother Vayne has died with honor in battle. The Imperial fleet is now under my command.
Sir, your orders, sir.
This is Ashelia Delmasca.
The Lady Ash. Thank the gods you live.
I confirm what Judge Magister Gabranth and Larsa Solidor have said here.
Please stand down your attack. The war is over. Evilise looks to the horizon.
A new day has dawned. We are free.
Look, Vaughn, the Bahamut.
A message from the Alexander.
Take it.
Sir.
This is Judge Zargabath, captain of the Alexander, flagship of the 12th Damascan Fleet of the Arcadian Army. I address all ships in Rabanasta's airspace. The Bahamut must not be allowed to fall on the city of Rabanasta. We are preparing to ram her. Do not interfere.
Madness.
Should she fall, the paling will not hold, and all Rabanasta will be obliterated. All ships, concentrate your fire on the Alexander's remains once Bahamut is clear of the city.
Hasty, aren't they? I think it's a little early to be throwing away our lives just yet.
Balthier? Wait! Balthier, where are you?
Oh, Vaughn. Sounds like you made it out okay. The Strahle's a fine airship, eh?
What does he think he's doing? Balthier!
Marquis, stop that fool judge on the Alexander for me, would you? Just getting somewhere with these glossair rings. Almost done. Don't want him ramming me before I fix them, do we?
Balthier, do you understand exactly what it is you're doing?
Princess! No need to worry. I hope you haven't forgotten my role in this little story. I'm a leading man. You know what they say about the leading man? He never dies. Let's fly! Fran, power to the glossair rings. Fran? Do I have to do everything around here?
Listen to me, Balthier. Get out of Bahamut immediately.
Please, Balthier! You mustn't die!
Please, Balthier. Come back.
I'd say you're in more of a supporting role.
Fran, please. The Strahl's in your hands. You'd better take care of her, you hear? If there's one scratch on her when I get back...
Roger that. We'll be waiting for you.
And so that is Final Fantasy XII. With that ending, you can tell they were planning on doing a sequel at some point, but at the time, I doubt they expected the sequel to be on Nintendo DS and as a quasi-real-time strategy game. Revenant Wings follows up directly on that ending and sequel hook, by the way, and I don't know if I'll cover it on the channel someday, maybe. It wouldn't be a rediscovery run or anything. I would have to replay the game for myself and do research because it's a very obscure game. I don't think a lot of people on YouTube have covered it, so I'd like to maybe be a bit more in depth with it because it's very unique in terms of its mechanics. But as I've said earlier, it's not my favorite game in the world, but it is decent, and if you enjoyed the story and characters of this game, there are some surprises in Revenant Wings that might make you very happy. I know it made me happy back in the day. I was actually really excited to get Revenant Wings when it first came out. I was like, oh boy, they made a sequel to this? So that should show you that this game is actually very important to me. It may not be my favorite JRPG these days, but it was the first non-Pokemon console JRPG I ever played, and that had a very big impact on me. And it's a game that going back to for this series, I still really enjoy it. I actually think it's very well made. I like the control you have over AI and party members, I like the areas, I like that you have freedom to explore while at the same time, you've also got a main story that is fairly decent. I will say, of everything, I actually think my biggest issue with this game is the story, and it's not because the story or characters are bad. Ironically, it's because they're good, but there just isn't enough of them. And that's, I feel, where this game has a bit of an, I guess I could say, identity crisis, in that it feels like because Final Fantasy X, the last sort of non-online FF game, was very linear and very story-driven, I wonder if they were trying to address some possible criticisms there and go, okay, for this game, we're going to focus less on the story, and instead focus a bit more on the world and the exploration and the side quests and the hunts and that kind of thing. So they would focus a bit more on that and have the main story be a bit downplayed. But the problem is, what little main story there is actually very good. It's very grounded, one of the most grounded Final Fantasy games out there, and it's simple conceptually. And that's why a lot of people are on, you know, just a, well, that looks kind of very different concept art of Fran there, I'm guessing, but a lot of people back in the day were like, oh, it's just a Resistance versus Empire story with a princess and a sky pirate. Obviously, it's just Star Wars, right? But it's actually a lot more than that. Like, characters like Vayne and Larsa, I actually really like the way this game goes into the politics of war and empires a lot more than most fantasy war stories do. Because bajillions of JRPGs and fantasy stories are all very much focused on war and empires, but not a lot of them go into the things like, okay, so you've killed the Emperor, the big bad, what happens now? And I think Larsa is very much the unsung hero of this story, because if it weren't for him, we probably wouldn't have peace. And also, there needs to be political compromises as well. For example, Barsh has to impersonate his brother now, indefinitely, to sort of keep the peace between the two nations. I think that's a very interesting way to end his story, that his arc probably doesn't go in the direction that he was maybe hoping, and like, he had to give up some of his own freedoms for the peace and the good of the world, which actually fits given that, you know, his knightly demeanor. I think it's very interesting and has a lot of depth to it, and because of that, I feel like it should have been focused on maybe a little bit more. Similarly, the characters, what little we get of the party members interacting with each other, like Ash and Vaughn bonding over the shared desire for revenge, we just don't see it that much. We get these glimpses of it, like on the Bahamut at the end, and I feel like, oh, like, this party could have some really, really good dynamics here, and we just don't see it enough. It's just not a focus. And it's a weird case of me not liking a story because I like a story, like, if that makes any sense. It's just, it just feels like there's a bit of missed opportunity there, and they didn't want this to be a story-focused game, but if they had made it one, it could have been the best story they ever told in the Final Fantasy series. Well, that's a bold claim because people, you know... I never played 6 or 7 growing up, and I know a lot of people love those. Yeah, like, as far as Final Fantasy goes, I'm not, like, the biggest FF fan. I've only really played 10, 12, and, as weird as it sounds, I've played 13 and 13-2 pretty extensively. So, I don't have that perspective of people who grew up with games like 4 and 6, who really love those, partly because those games never got released in Australia. Oh, is that Sid with Balthier as a baby? That's actually kind of sweet. So, a lot of people who grew up with those games maybe had harsher feelings towards this game. Going into this as my first game in the series, I had a very, very unique view of it. And hopefully I got some of that across here. So, now to talk about the project itself. I like doing this in the credits, but the last few games I played have all had vocal songs for the credits theme, so I couldn't do it until now. I guess that's Fran and her sisters, which is also interesting. But this project, I know that this hasn't got the most attention of anything I've done on the channel. I know that I'd never played a Final Fantasy game before, and to a lot of people that was a bit of a turn-off. This isn't, you know, Fire Emblem, or as a lot of people have come to know me for lately, Persona. And I get that. I get why people might not be so interested in this. I actually really wanted to play this game on the channel at some point. It's kind of weird, but I've always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to play FF12. And back in the day, I was actually very scared to, because I thought this would be like a Xenoblade Chronicles situation, and it would just take ages. And I know this has gone on very, very long for what I thought would just be a short interim series. And the game was progressing pretty quickly for a while, and then at the very end, there were just a lot of hunts that I went to do, and things got stalled maybe a little bit towards the tail end of the playthrough. I didn't really expect that, but going into this without, you know, doing a practice run and having it be semi-blind, I couldn't have really predicted that. But, and similarly, I hope that I didn't say too much, oh, I remember this, oh, I remember this, oh, I don't really remember this. It's just been a bit of a trial run, and I know that it's a bit weird for a trial run to be this long, but I hope those of you who did watch this series got my unique perspective on this game, and how I feel about it, and how I feel about the changes in Zodiac Age, which overall, I think they're extremely good. I think now has never been a better time to play this game if you skipped it before, and a lot of people did, because as I've mentioned earlier, this game did not have very good reception when it first came out, but that's the case with a lot of Final Fantasy games. It was very controversial, but a lot of the things that it did have actually become standards in RPGs now, like having battles take place seamlessly on the field. Seamless integration of exploration and combats. And Zodiac Age with the class system, getting rid of that everyone plays the same issue the original had. The speed up button definitely helps. A lot of the other quality of life features, like the clicking the analog stick map, that was not in the original game, I've heard, and that really makes exploration a lot more convenient. So, in general, and also, I'm pretty sure you can get this version quite cheap these days too, so if you ever wanted to try this game, I would recommend it. In particular, I got it on Switch. I think it would make a very good portable game, overall. Although, you know, I have never actually played it docked, so I don't know how well it looks docked, but I guess I'll find out now I no longer have to record everything that I do in the game. And on that note, I will leave you here. But there is still more to do in Final Fantasy XII. There's still the Subterra, the Great Crystal, and the other area of the Henna Mines. There's 2 more optional Espers, which are one more thing I want to say about this game. The Espers still are one of my absolute favourite things about this game. I think they're some of the best, ways they've done summons in any Final Fantasy. I love that you have to fight them in optional boss fights that all have their own unique conditions to force you to strategize differently. And I also love how Zodiac Age buffed them to make them all really useful and let you give them direct commands, because they were really weak in the original game, which was a huge letdown for the effort you had to go to actually get them. So there's that. There's also that one hunt, the Ancient Man of Mystery. That's one that I've really been looking forward to, and I will say, that's going to be the first thing that I do in the post-game. So, look forward to that when I see you back in Ivalice next time. But until then, thank you all for watching, those who did. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing and hearing my perspective on this game. And I will see you all when I next see you. Till then, this is Big Clingy signing off. Okay, wait a minute. So, Zodiac Age has a New Game Plus mode. The original didn't, so I've never seen this screen before, and as a result, I know nothing about New Game Plus at all, or how it works. I don't want to do New Game Plus, at least not yet. I want to go and do post-game before I do that. This does mean that I would have to beat the Undying again to unlock New Game Plus, but I really like that fight. I would gladly replay that fight. In fact, I should probably quickly look up what that actually entails, because I've never done that before. Okay, so the original way this worked was that you didn't even carry over anything. There were only two options. The first one set everyone to level 90, and the second was a New Game Minus, where all the characters' levels were at their base levels and they never gain experience. So that was good for challenge runs. But in the Switch and Xbox One versions, you can carry over equipment, and I'm pretty sure that would have been patched into the PS4 version, because they patched the other Switch and Xbox exclusive features into that one, so why not this? And also, originally, you could only do New Game Minus if you completed Trial Mode, but I don't know if that's the case in this version or not. So again, I'm not an authority on New Game Plus, because I'd never done it before, but I'm not going to do it here, but just wanted to acknowledge the option. Now I'm really signing off, so see you all next time.